Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Waiting for you to arrive, counting sheep.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Moon Song for Alex. It was written by Ariel Macadangdang and is performed here by her, Brian Dubrow, and Joy Adams for their group Salome Songbird. You can find this song and 3 other singles from Salome Songbird wherever you get your music. And to learn more about the group as a whole, you can head to their website, Salome Songbird, that's SALOME songbird.com.
Green mountains and laugh if we should fail. I'm gonna get the moon for you. I'm gonna get the moon for you. Hey, I'm right here. I can see you're growing up so tall.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where today I am bringing you another great segment from our regular correspondent, Maryann Rosen. Before we transition into her segment, though, here are our regular preliminary announcements. If you're interested in subscribing to the Mountaineer today to get news from peak to peak, then be sure to head to our website at the mtnear.com and click on the subscribe button in the top right corner of our homepage. From there, you'll get full access to our digital archive and scanned copies of the physical newspaper, and you can choose to receive a physical subscription by sending it to your mailbox, or you can send it to the mailbox of someone that you love. If you're interested in being involved in the paper and or podcast in any way, shape, or form, including advertising, then be sure to email me at media@themountaineer.com and or our editor-in-chief, Barbara Hardt, at info@themountaineer.com, and we will get something sorted for you. And if you're particularly interested in getting advertising into the paper, then you can head to the mtnear.com/advertise today to learn about the available options. Oh, and voting is currently going on now for our 2025 annual poetry contest. Be sure to head to the mtnear.com to find the voting form so that you can vote for your favorite poem submitted for this year's Mountaineer Poetry Contest. Voting ends May 31st at midnight, and the winner will be announced on June 5th in print and online. And finally, our regular promotional announcements brought to you by the Mountaineer.
Looking for a unique advertising opportunity? The Mountaineer Podcast may be a perfect fit for you. Our podcast reaches local listeners at least 3 days each week. We can create your podcast commercial for you, or you can submit your own. Contact Amanda McDonald for additional information. Her email is adsales@themountaineer.com, and her cell is 720-960-2900. Have you checked out the Mountaineer YouTube lately? We are very excited to have a videographer intern this spring, as well as Clementine Miller, who's been working hard to record some of our local events and meetings to share with you. Go check it out on the Mountaineer YouTube. Have you seen our 2024 Peak to Peak Visitors Guide? We have just launched our 2025 Media Kit for the next guide. Go to our website and click on Advertise to see the full media kit there. Spring is springing, and we all know that means the flowers will be popping out all over the place, reminding us of beautiful art. That also means it's time to start thinking about the 2025 studio tour. Go to our website and click on special sections to view the 2024 guide and prepare yourself for this year's edition.
All right, now let's transition into our regular special segment. Take it away, Maryann.
This is the Mountain Ear Podcast, and I'm Maryann Rosen, bringing you history, lore, or stories from or about the mountains you live in. The month of May, like many others, is dedicated to and honors specific groups. This month is shared by Jewish Heritage Month and Asian American Heritage Month. American Jews are an integral part of U.S. history. Even before the actual establishment of the nation, Jewish immigrants contributed their sweat, toil, and tears to build the American dream. Many came to America penniless in hopes of building a better life. Jewish immigrants helped to build American colonies before the Revolutionary War. Like many other immigrants, they fled persecution, wars, and famines to begin a new life in a new land. Jewish peoples played roles in commerce, diplomacy, and the fight for civil rights. Asser Levy was one of the first Jewish persons to arrive in New Amsterdam, now New York, in 1654. He successfully challenged a law that restricted certain privileges to Dutch citizens only. While Jewish people were a small minority during the Revolutionary War, they joined their neighbors in fighting for their rights to exist in the land that they helped to build. Francis Salvador, a planter born to a Sephardic Jewish family in South Carolina, was the first person of Jewish heritage to be elected to public office in America. He also became the first Jewish man to die fighting in the American Revolution. Although women's contributions were restricted by societal norms, Rebecca Gratz organized fundraising events and provided support for soldiers and their families after the war. Later on, women such as Ernestine Rose and Hannah Greenbaum Solomon championed women's rights, including suffrage. The late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg dedicated her career to advancing women's rights and civil rights for all. Another Supreme Court Justice, Louis Brandeis, also advocated for social reform. Jews stood shoulder to shoulder with the African American community in its fight for equal rights, and several Jewish men were prominent in the labor movement. Samuel Gompers founded the AFL, and Sidney Hillman co-founded the CIO. Their efforts helped to establish fundamental labor rights such as the right to fair wages, safe workplaces, and collective bargaining. Other notable Jewish people include Edie Windsor, a leading gay rights activist, and Judy Heumann, who championed the American with Disabilities Act. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders has also made his mark in politics. Jewish people have also been influential in entertainment, with celebrities like Bob Dylan, Steven Spielberg, Scarlett Johansson, and Mayim Bialik, along with the Marx Brothers, the Three Stooges, and Barbra Streisand. And it was Irving Berlin who penned God Bless America. In sports, Hank Greenberg and Sandy Koufax became record-setting baseball stars, while Aly Raisman brought home 3 Olympic gold medals. And don't forget those jeans that you wear, thanks to Levi Strauss. It is, however, in science, technology, and economics where Jewish persons made significant advancements. There are 132 American Jewish Nobel laureates. All of these achievements happening while facing discrimination. Jewish American Heritage Month was established in 2006 to celebrate the rich history and contributions of Jewish Americans to the United States. The month was designated through a presidential proclamation after resolutions urging recognition of the 350-year history of Jewish life in America. The proclamation was signed by President George W. Bush. But what of the Jewish presence in Colorado? During Colorado's mining boom, particularly after the Pikes Peak gold rush, Jewish settlers established businesses and communities in mining towns like Cripple Creek, Leadville, and Denver. While some Jewish persons were miners, many more opened businesses to provide goods and services to the growing mining population. These included stores and groceries. Emmanuel Saltiel created a Jewish farming colony in Cotopaxi. The agricultural colony attracted Jewish immigrants to work the land. Now a historical landmark, Temple Aaron, built in 1889 in Trinidad, Colorado, is the oldest synagogue in Colorado. Denver became a hub for Jewish communities, with organizations like B'nai B'rith and Congregational Emmanuel being founded. It attracted Jewish immigrants looking for better health opportunities. Otto Mears, a Jewish businessman, played a key role in developing southern Colorado's infrastructure, including building roads to facilitate trade between mining areas and agricultural regions. Other notable Coloradans of Jewish heritage include Frances Weisbart Jacobs, who was known as the Mother of Charities in Denver. She was a key figure in founding the United Way. Jacobs also founded the National Jewish Hospital in Denver. Dr. Charles Spivak and Dr. Harold Frank both were Denver doctors who made significant contributions to the Jewish and Denver communities. And Golda Meir, the Israeli Prime Minister, lived for a short time as a teenager in Colorado. While our Peak-to-Peak region has a rich history, the historical presence of Jewish people in the towns of Central City, Black Hawk, Rawlinsville, Nederland, and others is not as well documented as it is in other Colorado communities like Denver. However, it can be presumed that there were probably businesses in the area catering to the miners. Two names do show up in the history of the area. The first is businessman Abraham Jacobs, who initially established a store in Central City and later moved to Denver, where he and his wife became prominent figures in the community. The second is Abraham Rakowski, who purchased the New York store in Central City, which was originally owned by pioneer Abraham Rittmaster. Rakowski became a significant businessman in the city. Sharing the month, May is also designated as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. A week-long celebration began in 1978 under President Jimmy Carter. However, Congress established a month in 1990, and it was then designated in 1992 by President George W. Bush. May was chosen to commemorate the rich history, cultures, and contributions of Asian Americans, a time to recognize their diverse heritage and the significant impact they have made on American society. The month was chosen because it contains two significant historical events. The first Japanese immigrants arriving in the United States in 1843, and the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad built by Chinese immigrants. Asian immigrants comprise a significant portion of the U.S. population. They are drawn to the country by various factors, including better economic and job opportunities, educational opportunities, and a desire to improve their children's futures. Early Asian immigrants, primarily from China and Japan, arrived in the mid-1800s, contributing to infrastructure prospects like railroads. The first Chinese immigrants arrived in 1820. Nearly all early Chinese immigrants were young men with varied educational backgrounds. By the 1850s, more Chinese workers migrated initially for work in the gold mines, but also taking agricultural jobs and factory jobs. Chinese immigrants were especially crucial in building railroads in the American West. These immigrants contributed heavily to this country's infrastructure development. As Chinese laborers achieved success and their numbers increased, anti-Chinese sentiment rose. Discrimination and violence was common. In 1882, the Chinese Exclusion Act was enacted. This federal law virtually banned Chinese laborers from immigrating to the United States for an entire decade. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, which eliminated quotas based on national origin, led to a surge in Chinese immigration. Chinese immigrants came to Colorado primarily because of the mining industry. According to a letter written by Joseph Wolfe of Boulder, Colorado, which was published in the Rocky Mountain News, Chinese labor was seen as especially attractive because it was cheaper labor that would offer a chance of relief for Americans performing hard labor in the West. An active Chinatown existed in Denver with many businesses, stores, and laundries catering to the city, the pioneers, and the miners. It was located in what is now the Lodo neighborhood, approximately between Market and Wazee Street, and where Coors Stadium now sits. Some prominent Asians in Colorado today and historically are Ellison Onizuka, an astronaut for the U.S. Space Shuttle program, who earned degrees at UC Boulder before unfortunately perishing in the 1986 Challenger shuttle disaster, and Ding Wen Su, a business executive and community leader known for preserving Asian culture and highlighting traditions in Colorado. But Colorado's Asian community is also active in business, entertainment, politics, law, media, health, culture, and diversity, equity, inclusion. Hiram Leong Fong was the first Chinese-American U.S. Senator, and Dalip Singh Song became the Asian elected to Congress for the first time. Lucy Liu, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, and Michelle Yeoh are only a few Asian entertainers, while Amy Tan, Connie Wang, and Ava Chin are a sampling of Asian authors. In the sciences, Chiang Sheng-Wu was known as the First Lady of Physics, and Min Chieh Chang was the co-inventor of the combined oral contraceptive pill. Another prominent Asian in Colorado was Chin Lin Su, which also brings us to Asian history here in the Peak to Peak. Su immigrated to the United States in 1859. He was in charge of the first crew of Chinese laborers to work on the Central Pacific Railroad. In 1871, Chin Lin Su moved to Colorado to work as a labor contractor managing Chinese placer mines in Blackhawk. Later in life, he became a merchant in Gilpin County and Denver, importing food, clothing, and furniture from China. Many other Chinese immigrants also headed to the Blackhawk Central City area, with well over 100 Chinese persons believed to have lived in Gilpin County. Dostal Alley became infamous as the Asian section of Central City, as well as ground zero for a major fire in 1874. Due to racial tensions caused by the fire, Chinese immigrants were not allowed anymore to work in mines, so they worked in laundromats or businesses on Main Street where Dostal Alley is located, and did odd jobs. Chin Lin Su stepped in as a respected businessman and calmed tensions. Although fears in Gilpin County may have subsided, race-related aggression in Colorado mountain towns played out in nearby Nederland, where more than 160 Chinese immigrants were driven out of Nederland by white miners. Both Jewish and Asian Americans were instrumental in American, Coloradan, and peak-to-peak history. Today, there are an estimated 117,000 people of Jewish ancestry living in Colorado, with around 91,000 of those living in the Denver-Boulder area. The Asian population makes up about 4% of the state's population, with around 260,000 people of Asian descent, with those of Chinese ancestry being the largest group. So, join in celebrating these cultures this month by reading about them, asking about them, and taking part in any festivities being held in your area. Listen in next time to the Mountain Ear Podcast for more mountain history, lore, or stories. I'm Maryann Rosen. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Maryann, for bringing us another great segment. I'll be back in the next couple of days with our next episode of Music of the Mountains. In the meantime, if you're interested in subscribing to the In the meantime, if you want to share this episode or others around with whoever you see fit, then be sure to head to the mtnear.com and scroll near to the bottom of the homepage, or head to our podcast's main hub at the mtnear.com, at the mtnearpodcast.buzzsprout.com to see a full archive of all of our episodes. If you're interested in being involved in the paper and or the podcast, then be sure to reach out to info@themountaineer.com and or media@themountaineer.com today, and we'll get something sorted for you. And finally, be sure to check out our individual podcast episode descriptions for our primary websites, our homepage, our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube, and our podcast's main hub. In those individual descriptions, you can also send us a text and give us general or specific feedback about the paper and or the podcast. We'd love to hear from you. I'll see you guys very soon with our next Music of the Mountains episode. Have a great rest of your day.
Toxic positivity. Stay the hell away from me.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Toxic Positivity. It was written by Ariel Macadangdang and is performed here by her, Brian Dubrow, and Joy Adams for their group Salome Songbird. You can find this song and 3 other singles from Salome Songbird wherever you get your music. And to learn more about the group as a whole, you can head to their website, Salome Songbird, that's SALOME songbird.com.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.